Right, I'm here with Ruby today and we're just going to do a really quick tutorial of how to do exam hair. So the two styles that we do for our exams are ballet bun for ballet exams and for tap and modern exams we do 2 Dutch plaits and then we twist them up and pin them up so they're tight to the head. So we're going to do tap and modern hair first. The first thing I'm going to explain is the difference between a French and a Dutch plait. So a lot of people know French plaits. Stay there for me. Let me show you the beginnings of a French plait. Now this is what we don't do. I mean, French plaits look fine. They are harder to get tight to the head and they're more likely to fall out. So a French plait is like a classic plait. It goes on top like that and then you just start adding little bits of hair like that. You add bits as you go along, just doing this very roughly. So that's the kind of plait that most people know. We're going to do Dutch plaits. So in a Dutch plait, instead of, keep your head up for me, good girl. Instead of going on top like that, you're going to take it underneath. So let me just show you a really basic Dutch plait before we do the proper thing. So it's going underneath, so it looks kind of the reverse like that, and then we'd start adding bits like that. So it's pointing upwards instead of pointing downwards. It's just much easier to keep them tight if you do a Dutch plait, so they're less likely to fall out in the exam. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is spray Ruby's hair just with some conditioner spray. You can use water spray if you don't have conditioner. It's just something to sort of tame flyaways, especially the younger students. Ruby's 6. They tend to have quite a lot of flyaways by the sides of their head, and this just helps tame those. Chin up for me until we can get it all back. So you can, Ruby's got a side parting, you can move it to a middle parting if you prefer, but I personally don't mind having one side that kind of comes across the front and then a smaller one on the other side. So that's how I'm going to do her hair today. So we're going to even up the hair at the back there, make sure we've got a nice line. And then the front bit is slightly more on that side because that's just what's comfortable for her to have her hair. So I'm going to get one side out of the way. Just put that in a loose pigtail there, and then we're working with this side. So tilt your chin up for me, Ruby. Good girl, and see where we've sprayed it, that hair is going back nicely. We'll spray it with proper hairspray at the end. Don't spray it with hairspray at the beginning, because if you're using a really strong hold hairspray, it's going to make it quite hard to work with. The hair's going to get really sticky. So split it in 3 sections, and I'm just going to start going under like this. So I do about 3 or 4, and then I'm just going to start adding little sections of hair. Now, it's easiest if you pull in hair that is level with the part of the plait that you're doing, if that makes sense. So as you get lower down, you don't want to be picking up hair that's too low down here because it will go saggy. You want to try and keep everything in line. Like this. We've got a little bit of a bump there. We can pin that in at the end. Now see, I don't want to pull this bit up to there because that will sag. So I'm going to start taking from directly behind the plait there. There we go. Make sure everything is level. Ruby's got quite fine hair, but it's all one length and she doesn't have a fringe. If she had a fringe, I would probably use a bit of light gel to get that back first and then perhaps pin it if it wasn't staying back. And if you've got layers, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I try and go all the way to the end with the plait. Get it nice and tight. See where we've done the Dutch plait as opposed to the French, it's really tight to her head and that's not going to move anywhere. Why are you tilting your head back?
It's tilting.
It's because I'm pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I use these little elastics for these. I'll show those to the camera, these little plastic ones.
Can we just do that again? It wasn't very in focus.
These little plastic ones. It's much better than using kind of big sort of ponytail bands, especially if they've got fine hair.
If they've got thick hair, you could use one or you could use elastic.
Even thick hair, I would use these little elastic bands. And then we're just going to do exactly the same on the other side. Tilt your head back for me. So I'll try and do this side a little bit quicker just to save time. So again, shall I spin this round? Split that in 3, and we're going under and under. Each one we take a little bit more hair. So that's nice and tight. And then we're going to get another one of these bands and pop it in. Now your next job is just to pin it up, because you don't want plaits whipping in their face in the middle of an exam. So they do like to have the hair kind of tight to the head. So things we can use to pin them up. Some people use grips. Right, difference between a grip and a pin. This is a pin, this is a grip. So these, Ruby would be fine using these actually, these grips, because she's got fine hair.
Hold the two up still a second.
If you've got thick hair, you definitely want these. These are much better if you've got thick hair. So let me show you how we use both. So, again, because her hair's not massively long, that's it, good gal. Stay still for me. Half the job is getting them to stay still. I would tuck the ends like that. And then I'm going to use grips. And I'm just going to sort of anchor them in like that. Now, if they've got really long hair and thick hair, let me show you how I'd use these. So you want to go outwards with that and then bring it back in. So I'm going to go out and then in. It's not really necessary for hair like Ruby's that's not really long and it's quite thin. But if you've got thick hair, I find that's the best way to get it to stay. If you've got really long hair, you can figure of 8 it and do that. Do the anchor technique for getting them all in. Let me show you that again with a grip. So you go outwards and then back in. And I do loads. Ruby's hair I'd maybe do 8. With really long hair, I'd put loads of them in, to be honest, because I just don't want it falling out in the middle of an exam. But that, sorry. That for Ruby would hold pretty well because she's got thin hair. And then the wonderfulest thing is we put these bows in and then that can hide any kind of, we don't really want to see that elastic there. We sort of need to tuck this bit in. So I would shove a grip. I would shove a grip there to keep that bit in. And then we can put the bows on the back. And then it just sort of hides any grips that might be sticking out and the elastics. And then we give her a little spritz of hairspray and then she's done. Do you want to give us a twirl?